You and your girlfriend have been dating for a while. You're thinking about getting married and starting a marriage-based green card case now. Hi, I'm J. Francis Lee. I'm immigration attorney in Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois, and Madison, Wisconsin. I'm also a college professor and first-generation immigrant. Today, I'm going to explain a green card through marriage timeline from green card through citizenship. What forms and documents do I file for marriage-based adjustment of the status case? You and your spouse need to submit multiple USCIS forms and documents, sharing various background information with them. You and your spouse also need to show a bona fide relationship by documenting that you are living together, commingling financial resources, and presenting yourself as a couple to the public. What is the new public charge rule? You will be also subject to I-944 public charge test. You and your spouse must submit the following types of information and documents: household income, household assets and resources, liabilities and debts, U.S. credit report and score, U.S. health insurance, public benefits, and education and skill documents. How long does it take for USCIS to send receipt and biometric notices? If you submitted all required forms, documents, and filing fee, USCIS will accept your case package. First, you will receive a text message if you submitted G1145 about 10 to 14 days after your initial submission. Next, USCIS will cash out your filing fee, which is currently $1,760, and mail return receipt notices to your mailing address. If USCIS is open to the public, USCIS will notify you of a biometrics appointment about 30 days after the initial submission. How long does it take to get work permit after marrying a U.S. citizen? When the National Benefit Center completes its initial review, your case will be transferred to a local USCIS field office. USCIS will send you employment authorization, as known as work permit, and advance parole, as known as travel permit documents, about 5 to 6 months after the initial submission. If the USCIS is open to the public, then USCIS will schedule interview for you and your spouse by mailing interview scheduling notice about 30 days ahead of scheduled interview date. How do I prepare for my green card marriage interview? You and your spouse must attend this interview together. You are expected to bring certain original documents with you. It is highly recommended that you bring additional bona fide documents as well. When you enter the building, you need to go through security check, then proceed to your interview area. When the interview officer is ready, you'll be called for interview. What happens at green card interview marriage? The local field office policy or your case records will determine whether you'll be interviewed together or separately. During the interview, officer will ask questions to both foreign and U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident spouse about the following matters: biographic information such as name, date of birth, and address, previous marriage, immigration, employment, and criminal records, foreign spouse, last U.S. entry, and timing of the marriage, and bona fide relationship. How long does it take to get green card through marriage? After the interview, USCIS will conduct additional background check. When the additional background check is clean and local field office approves your case, then you will receive a green card soon. Congratulations, you are now a lawful permanent resident. What is I-751 petition? Your green card through marriage was approved by the USCIS. Now you have a 2-year conditional residency card. Wonder about how to prepare to get 10-year green card. When should I file Form I-751? You are eligible to file it within 90 days of expiration of the conditional green card. If you file too early, your petition will be rejected. If you file too late, then you may be put into a removal proceeding. In most cases, you and your spouse will be filing petition together. What are the documents needed for filing I-751 form with the USCIS? When you submit I-751 petition package, you and your spouse bona fide relationship must be well documented. For instance, you and your spouse may submit joint rental agreements, joint bank statements, and social media evidence. What happens after filing I-751 petition? When USCIS accepts your case, a receipt notice will be mailed out to you. The notice will show 18-month status extension beyond the expiration of your conditional green card. A biometrics appointment is generally scheduled about 6 months after the initial submission. Does I-751 require interview? What happens next is case by case. About 1 year after the initial submission, you may receive a request for evidence if you fail to submit sufficient bona fide relationship document. You may be scheduled for interview. If it is scheduled, you and your spouse must attend it together with a local USCIS field office. USCIS may also approve your petition without an interview. Congratulations, you successfully removed conditions and you have attained your green card. Can you get your citizenship through marriage? It has been almost 3 years since you became lawful permanent resident. You wonder whether you can submit N-400 naturalization application now. How long do you have to be married to become a U.S. citizen? You're eligible to file N-400 application within 90 days of being lawful permanent resident for last 3 years if the following conditions are met. Your U.S. citizen spouse petitioned for your green card. Your spouse has been a U.S. citizen for the last 3 years at the time of filing your N-400 application, and you have been married to, living with the same U.S. citizen spouse for the last 3 years. What documents are required for citizenship through marriage? Most applicants often make the mistake of submitting insufficient bona fide documents, which often result in USCIS issuing a request for evidence before or after interview. Joint bank statements, joint residency documents, childbirth documents are often expected to demonstrate bona fide relationship. What should I expect at my citizenship interview? Before and during your N-400 interview, USCIS will conduct a complete review of your criminal, tax filing, overseas trip, marital, employment, residency, and child records. In fact, all previous immigration applications and petitions will be reviewed again before USCIS adjudicates your N-400 application. On the day of the interview, you will also need to pass civics and English test. How long does it take to get citizenship after interview? About 30 to 120 days after USCIS approval of your application, a naturalization ceremony will be scheduled for you, during which you will receive a certificate of naturalization. Congratulations, you are U.S. citizen now. Green card through marriage processing time and costs are subject to changes. Check with the USCIS and your attorney to be informed. Francis Law Center, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell. Thank you.